So Paul, what are the economic, environmental and social benefits of VCT investments?
That's a very broad question, of course.
It is, but ESG at the moment is a major concern.
Yes, and ESG, while it's as yet still to be defined, and it's a massive area of conversation amongst investors and fund managers. It's one that I think everyone is engaging with, and certainly all of us here, I'm sure, are deeply engaged with it. Clearly, governance, I'm going to maybe set aside. That's a long conversation, and there have been many well-documented reports and debates about how companies should be governed. And we certainly are very active in those kind of conversations when companies come to market, and we have clear expectations of how we like companies to be governed, and we scrutinise that very hard in initial public offerings. The social benefits, I think, are very widespread, and you know, it's a well-recognised phenomenon how important small businesses are for the UK. And fortunately, it's well recognised by policymakers, and it's part of why we have the VCT scheme in place, is to really support the scaling up of some of these new businesses that the UK is very good at creating. And the environmental conversation is moving rapidly forwards, and there have been many wake-up calls for all of us, I'm sure, over the past year. And it's something that I think most investors want to engage as much as possible with. For us, we made an investment last year, which I think is, I'm hoping will become important and make a good contribution to the development of key environmental technologies. And this particular company is called Velocis. It's been around for quite a long time. It's been working on extending an industrial process called the Fischer-Tropsch process, which is for turning solids into gas. It's a gasification process. For instance, you can take waste material, extract energy-bearing gas, and then you can turn that into fuel. And they've extended this process developing the right catalysts for it to enable waste streams to be turned into jet fuel. And clearly, airlines around the world are scratching their heads thinking, how can we catch up with the climate change demands that are being made upon us? How can we improve the carbon footprint of flying? And one might think, well, this is impossible. And equally, I think most of us would probably think, well, it doesn't really look like the world wants to stop flying. So Velocis' contribution to this is to put forward a technology which they're working on in conjunction with both Shell and BA as key partners to produce a carbon neutral or even a carbon negative jet fuel. And I think this could really change things.
Absolutely fascinating, because let's face it, we all want to fly, but in a green way. So this sounds like a way we can do that. Very interesting indeed. Yeah. Well, on to the economic, environmental and social investment benefits of VCT investing from you.
So we've long believed that companies with a positive social impact gives rise to valuable, sustainable, long-term businesses. And it's very much a lens we have, looked at our potential investments through. And it's great that this is becoming a more broader way of looking at the world, particularly amongst investment managers. So we've done it really in a variety of ways. And I suppose the most relevant to VCTs now, as they are, and the investment strategies they pursue, is, I guess, something like healthcare. We've always enjoyed investing in healthcare, and we've believed it's a great investment area for all the obvious demographic reasons, but also because it actually improves the world that we live in. So we've examples of just a few of our healthcare companies. We've got a business called Dices that is transforming the way cervical cancer is diagnosed. So new equipment that's now being widely sold. We've got a business called Murada, which uses AI to interpret images of tumours, potentially cancerous tumours, and it's doing it in a way that many thousands of hospitals are now looking at all their tumour scans through it, and it's changing the way they plan people's treatment, so that actually when they are treating people, they're treating them in a way that causes the minimum damage in a situation where they're treating cancer. That's just two of a portfolio of healthcare businesses we've built up.
Well, we all want to live longer, healthier, happier lives, and I can see how those investments are helping us do that. Charlie, same question to you.
Yeah, I was talking with my children this weekend, and they're very aware we've got some frightening challenges ahead of us. The kind of productivity, economic side, keeping UK at the forefront of the GDP race. The environmental challenges, but also the kind of we're all living longer, more of us on the planet. We need to be so much better at how we handle all that. And we back entrepreneurs, and we back entrepreneurs to do innovation. And the best of those innovations are typically focused at some of those problems. So we've got companies across the range of sectors. So productivity, many of our software companies are helping businesses be more productive. Healthcare, we have a company called Medivate that is innovating surgical practices alongside the NHS. In environmental, we have a company that is Avid Technologies that is helping companies move towards electrified vehicles. So there's just 3 of the examples, but more often than not, our smaller companies are playing a key role.